Hi, I'm Ellen Gormley and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing this lovely star stitch Tunisian pattern, and I made it here in orange, but I thought, I wonder what it would look like in another color since I already got a swatch made. So let's make it in blue, shall we? So of course I should have untangled my end before we started, but here it is. Let's get started. So this star stitch pattern is a pretty easy Tunisian pattern, but it requires a little bit of thinking. The return pass is different on this one than traditional. So this is what the front looks like. I'm not sure why they call it the star stitch because it doesn't really look like their traditional star stitch crochet pattern. Here's what the back looks like with these ridges. See the ridges there? So this is the front, and let's get started. We need a chain multiple of 3 plus 2. So I have my handy Tunisian crochet hook. This one happens to be a K. It's really long because it's the only one I could find at the moment. So I have a worsted weight yarn. The K yields really big stitches, which is fine for Tunisian. You, in general, want to go up a hook size when you're doing Tunisian. I'm not sure that you need to go up 2 hook sizes like this one, but that's okay. I am chaining multiples of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more. 1, 2. So what we'll do is, the first thing we will do is pull up a loop, the second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, and pull up a loop in each chain across. So while we're doing that, I hope you are enjoying the Tunisian playlist on my channel. There's tons of Tunisian, well, not tons, but a lot, building all the time. There's also, I try to do right and left-handed videos, so thank you so much for joining me while you're waiting for me to pull up a loop in the back bar or the back ridge of each chain across. Go ahead and hit that like button or the subscribe button. Turn notifications on so that you don't miss a thing. All right, almost there. So I didn't even count. I just wanted to get the multiple right. So we did a multiple of 3 a bunch of times and then added 2 stitches. So it is a multiple of 3 plus 2, and I have 1 more left. Get in that back ridge and pull up a loop. Now, as I told you before, the return pass is a little bit different on this one, so we need to pay attention. So as you know, a traditional return pass is yarn over, pull through 1 loop on the hook, then yarn over and pull through 2, and do the yarn over, pull through 2 multiple times all the way across until you're done. So the row 1 return pass, we're going to yarn over and draw through 1 loop on the hook, which is just a chain. Then it says to chain 1, and I want to be careful not to go through too many loops at a time. And then this is the starred section of the pattern. It says yarn over and draw through 4 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then chain 1, and then the star repeats from there. So yarn over and draw through 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 1. And then when you reach the last 2 loops, so I still have to get through all this, yarn over and draw through 1, 2, 3, 4. Why did that not work? Oh, I dropped one. Oh no. Hey friends, let's make this a learning moment. Now what I would do to fix this is I'm going to release this loop. I'm going to take my hook and thread it through the bars of each of the chains. So I'm basically backing up. This is hard to do so far away from my face. So I'm just threading this loop, and that dropped loop there, I just put it back on the hook, putting the hook through each of these loops, threading the hook back through, all the way through. And now when the hook is back in place on all of those loops, then I can pull the working yarn and undo. So your hook acts as a lifeline if you're a knitter and know what that means. Anyway, so we backed up. Okay, so we start again, no big deal. Yarn over and draw through one loop, which is a chain. Yarn over, draw through one, or it's a chain one, and then yarn over and draw through four. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it says chain one. Then it says yarn over and draw through 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain one. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And then when you get to the final last two loops, yarn over and draw through the last two loops, it says. So there we go. Whew. So you just need to get your foundation correct and then you're set. And then hopefully we will be set to complete this pattern. So let's get started with the next step. So row 2, chain 1, and we're going to do 3 Tunisian double crochets in the top bar, which is here between my thumbs, of each group. So yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and leave it on the hook. And we'll do that 2 more times in the same space. So it's as if to double crochet, only we're leaving it undone. Yarn over, insert the hook in that same spot, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, and leave it there. So I have the first stitch, and then 1, 2, 3 of these Tunisian double crochets here. Now we're going to go ahead and do that all the way across. So the next top binding is right here between my thumbs. That's where I'm going to put 3 stitches in that same stitch. So yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops on the hook and leave it. And we'll do that 2 more times in the same exact spot. Okay, so there's 2 groups of 3 now here. Here's one and here's the other. Okay. This pattern is a couple of rows in a repeat, so we're not, you haven't seen it all yet, so hang in there. So we have another group of 3. You can see where the multiples of 3 now comes in, or it makes a little bit more sense why we do a multiple of 3. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 2, all the same things here as if to double crochet. Okay, another group of 3. And then when we have done that all the way across, we are going to yarn over, insert the hook in the vertical bar from the row below, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. That's an extended single crochet. Essentially, you need to make a taller stitch there so that it's all balanced. So now to double check our work, remember we had a multiple of 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, so that should be 12, and then 1, 2 more should be 14. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, did you see how I did that? Do you need me to do that again slowly? I didn't count how many chains I made in the beginning, but I knew I needed a multiple of 3. And since I have 1, 2, 3, 4 repeats at 3 stitches each, 4 times 3 is 12. And then I added 2 more, 1, 2, which 12 plus 2 is 14. So the number of loops I should have on my hook at the end of each row is 14. So that's how I came up with that number. Now, the return pass for row 2 is the traditional return pass. So yarn over and pull through 1 loop on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook each time all the way across after that initial first stitch. Okay, this is going very smoothly now that I finally got my ducks in a row. It is really critical to get that first row fixed and set up correctly so that you are all set to go. All right, here we go. So I must have made that beginning chain pretty tight there. So that's why that's buckling a little bit. So keep your gauge nice and loose and comfortable. Okay, the third row, we're gonna do this row and this next row, and we're going to alternate them for the pattern. So this was row 1 was a setup row. Row 2 was where we did the Tunisian double crochets in groups of 3. Then this third row is Tunisian knit stitch. So Tunisian knit stitch, you can see the playlist from on my Tunisian playlist. I do have the Tunisian knit stitch, but if you need a reminder, we're going to stab the hook from the front to the back through the next vertical bar, splitting them. So here's the front one I'm pointing to with the head of my hook, and then here's the back one. So I'm going through to the back and splitting those two. So we're doing that all the way across in each vertical bar. So all the way back, splitting those from the front to the back. This is the Tunisian knit stitch. And I got to find a way to stabilize my camera, I think, a little bit more for the next video. I'll keep that in mind. Hopefully I'm not making you seasick. I have a little tangle in my yarn, so I'm undoing that. There you go. Give myself a little bit more slack. I don't want to knot. That'll mess with my tension, won't it? So Tunisian knit all the way across. Okay. Here we go. So if you want to double check, what was the magic number for this swatch again? 14, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Great, we are right on track. So the return pass for this third row is the same as the return pass for row 1. So this is where we do the fancy return pass again. So yarn over and draw through 1 loop on the hook, then chain 1. Then it says yarn over and draw through 4 loops on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then chain 1. Yarn over 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 loops remain. Yarn over and draw through the last 2 loops. Excellent. So now we have another group. We have another, so I made, my swatch must have been 17 stitches instead of 14. I must have done a multiple of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1, 16, and 1 more is 17. So that swatch must have been a chain of 17, where this swatch is a chain of 14. That's why it's a little smaller. Anyway, so you now have seen both row 2 and row 3, but let's do another set, shall we? So after we have finished the return pass for row 3, which was the same identical return pass as row 1, we go back to row 2 because we're repeating rows 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3 all the way for the length of our work. So what would this stitch be good for? Ooh, it'd make a great scarf, make a great hat. I wonder how I'd make a Tunisian hat with this. I think maybe I'll play with that one day. So chain 1, it said, so I did that. But remember the last one, I made it a little too tight. So I'm going to go back and make this kind of a looser one because I don't like that little tight spot down here. I'm going to make it a little looser. Then I'm going to yarn over and do 3 Tunisian double crochets in that same loop. 1, 2, 3. And there's nothing in between these groups. I'm just going to the next one, skipping all the chains that are in between. There's no filler spaces. It's just straight across Tunisian double crochet, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2. Should I go through that slowly? Skipping these chains in between, just doing the little loop that binds the 3 together there. So yarn over, insert the hook in that spot, yarn over, pull up a loop through the fabric, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook, leave it there. And we'll do that same process 3 times in the exact same stitch. Another grouping done. Every set of 3 is a little grouping, and so that's another multiple completed. Okay, and in the final one, they want you to do an extended single crochet. So if we look again more closely at the extended single crochet, we will yarn over. Sorry, I had an alarm go off and it turned off my video. We're doing the extended single crochet. So if we do the extended single crochet carefully, slowly, we will insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over, chain 1, yarn over, and pull through 2 is how we are doing it for this particular pattern. Always read the stitch notes or the special abbreviations or the stitch definitions if you don't know what you're doing, because some designers call different things different things. There should be a standard, and often there is, so that's a little bit of an unusual stitch. So there is that one. So now we are returning back. We just did a row 2. So to do the row 2 return pass, it is the traditional return pass, remember. So yarn over and pull through 1, then yarn over and draw through 2 loops on the hook all the way across. Let's just finish this next row because the pattern says to finish with a row 3, which is that knit stitch. The bind off for this pattern is, the bind off for this pattern is to knit stitch bind off. So you are inserting your hook as if to knit stitch, which means stabbing it all the way from the front to the back, pulling up a loop, and binding off would be just slip stitching through that as if to knit. So we're inserting and pulling through. We're inserting, grabbing the yarn, pulling through the loop of the fabric and the loop on the hook. All the way across, insert the hook, pull the loop through the fabric, pull the loop through the loop that's on the hook. So this is how we are knit stitch binding off this particular pattern. This is the star stitch pattern, which does not look like the traditional star stitch, but that's what this text is calling it. Okay. And then we'll just do the same exact thing with the final one. Just get a loop in there and then pull through as if slip stitching. And here is our little swatch in blue. So now you can see we have the orange swatch, the completed star stitch swatch, and then the blue, because I just wanted to see what it looked like in another color. And I hope you have enjoyed this little tutorial on the Tunisian star stitch. So please like and subscribe, and more videos are coming most Wednesdays. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.